spiritually and energetically keeping yourself in the same place. Hey friends, it's Ollie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're a returner, thank you so much for coming back. Today, we're going to be talking about how to elevate your mindset. We're going to talk about things that you can start doing to have a more positive, more abundant mindset, and also how to break the habits and the things that you're currently doing that are working against you. So this will be a little bit of a longer video, so go ahead, get cozy, get yourself a drink, and let's get right into it. Okay friends, today we're talking about how to elevate your mindset, get a more abundant mindset, get into a more positive mindset, all that good stuff. So I'm going to be doing my makeup because I have somewhere to be after this, but I figured I can do my makeup and talk at the same time, so let's get into it. So in order to change your mindset, the first thing you need to do is change your environment. Obviously easier said than done, so we'll break it down into three major components. Changing your environment is about changing your physical environment, like your home, changing your work environment, and then changing your support environment, meaning your friends, your family, coworkers, all that good stuff. Let's start with home. The reason that it's important to change your environment when it comes to your home, if you're trying to change your mindset, is that, which you probably noticed already, your home and your area, your space, is a direct reflection of how your brain feels that day. So I know personally, like if I have a very cluttered home, my brain feels very cluttered as well. It's like really hard for me to start a task, to complete a task, to literally just know like what to do with myself. My space is like incredibly messy. The first thing to change your mindset is to ensure that you're decluttering your home regularly. You want to marry this to something that you already do. So for me, at night, I turn off the TV when I know I'm getting ready to go to bed. That is a signal to my body now to declutter. So whenever it's time to go to bed, I do a light, literally less than 10 minutes, I walk around my little studio and I pick up whatever I can, because that means that tomorrow Ollie gets to wake up to a clean home rather than waking up to a cluttered space. And to make that easier, you want to remove unnecessary things from your home. So for me, I used to have a rug in my little living area, and I would have to clean that rug profusely because it would catch on hair, dust, everything would be very visible in that rug. And one day I just rolled it up and threw it away. And it wasn't even like I said, oh, this weekend I'm gonna get rid of this rug. It was really like I was cleaning one day and I looked up and I was like, cleaning this rug makes my life fucking hell. And I just got rid of every rug in my apartment. I don't have rugs anymore. So it's little things like that. If there's something in your home that routinely causes a mess, whether it's having your big ass air fryer right on the countertop or things like that, remove them, move them away, take them out of your sight, because once you just change where those things live or take them out of your home, you're gonna look up and realize I was wasting a lot of time cleaning this when I could have just got rid of it. So the last thing around changing your environment, you may want to rearrange your space. I've lived in my apartment right now for about 3 years. No, 2 years, 2 years. I moved in 2021. And I've rearranged this place 5 times. Every time I kind of feel stuck. I feel like I'm getting into a negative headspace, I'm not being as productive as I want to be. I rearrange my space, and it's always something small. Sometimes I just move my desk. Sometimes I move the way my bed is oriented, or I change the way my vanity is set up. I find that doing that little change in your physical space will make it feel brand new. And all of a sudden, it's a lot easier to feel more motivated, more positive, just a different mindset, because it feels like you're in a different space. And a lot of times our body keeps score. Our body will, attribute anxiety and stress to the home. And then when you rearrange the home, the body's like, where the fuck am I? That's why it's really good to rearrange your space once in a while, just to help shift your mindset. So the next thing around changing your environment will be changing your work environment. So this is obviously not something you could just pick up and do. If it's really that your job is bringing you too much stress, it'll take time to find a new job and put in your 2 weeks and all that good stuff. But if it's really just I feel stress in general when it comes to any place I work, which is something I realized about myself, that I was just overly stressed at any job, you might just need to change the way your work environment feels. So for me, in my current office, there's a meditation room, there's a sitting area, There are bean bags. Like, there are places to be cozy in my office. I used to tend to like not use them. Like, I would just like ignore those things, and I don't know, they just like weren't there. I wouldn't use them all the time. And part of changing my mindset was changing my work environment. So what I started to do in the days that I was in the office, rather than sitting at a desk all day long, I would sit at my desk basically until lunchtime. Whenever I come back from lunch and I come back to the office, I make a point to not sit at my desk the whole day. So if it means like going and sitting on the couch or sitting on a bean bag, maybe taking 30 minutes going to the meditation room and just like scrolling through my phone or just like closing my eyes, I've made a habit of doing that now. So it's actually something I look forward to. Now it's like I actually feel like I work better in the office because I'm using all aspects of the office space. So then when it comes to lunchtime in the office, the other thing that I do that I'm really big on is leaving the office. I wanted to mention this separately because during lunch at work, you can use that as a solo date. And that's actually what I do. So most days, I would say 2 to 3 times a week, I'll take myself out to lunch and I'll sit outside in the sunshine, try not to look at my phone excessively, and just like take myself out to eat. I'm also lucky that I work in the city, so there's a lot of places I could walk to get like lunch. So I don't always have to have the same thing, but even if I want to bring my lunch from home, there's a lot of sitting areas in the city, more than there are like around Brooklyn where I live. So I just make a point of going outside and enjoying the city, whether it's I'm taking myself out to eat or I'm bringing lunch and I'm going to a park or I'm going to like my favorite sitting spots. I found that I actually look forward to those because it's a lot more fun to sit and eat your lunch in public than it is to sit and eat your lunch on the couch. And it's like a domino effect and everything ties back into itself. So when you're trying to elevate your mindset and you make little things during your workday less of a drag and more of like things that you actually look forward to, it's easier to show up every day and be positive and just be happy to be there because you actually have things that you're looking forward to. And then the last thing around changing your environment will be to change your support environment, meaning change your friends and your family. And I know you're probably like, what do you mean change my family? I can't change my family. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Just because you have family does not mean that every single person that is blood has to be your family. You can create your chosen family. And if you need to do that, this is me giving you the motivation that you need to do that. Like if you need to cut people off in your friends or your family just because they're bad for your mental health, do that. This is the only life you have, and they're going to tell you that, oh, blood, look. Do what you gotta do to make sure that you're happy. And at the end of the day, no relationship is set in stone. So if there's any relationship you have that you can know like off the top of your head, you're probably already thinking about it. But if there's any relationship you have that off the top of your head you know is bringing more negativity than positivity in your life, know that that's affecting your mindset. In reality, we are mirrors of the people that we surround ourselves with. So if you are surrounded by a bunch of negative Nancy's, a bunch of just, Debbie Downers, then you will be that. You will be a Debbie Downer. You will be the woe is me girl because that's what you surround yourself with. I think one of my favorite analogies is the lecture hall analogy. If you have 2 groups of friends and you show up to lecture and one of your groups of friends sits in the back of the room, they're on their phone, they're kicking their feet up, and then you have another group of friends that sit right in the front row and they have their journals open, they're ready. Depending on who you sit with, that will affect your score in that class. If you sit with your friends that sit in the back and are on their phone all day long, you're either gonna have to cram when it comes time to finals or you're just gonna fail. Whereas if you sit with your friends that are in the front, they're probably going to still be keen and joking around, but because we're in the front with our journals open, we're naturally going to absorb more from the lecturer, meaning that we're going to get A's. That's the same thing with life. Okay, hey friends, so apologies. Yesterday I was filming. I did not realize how much time had passed, and essentially the person that knocked at my door was my friend that was here for basically the get together I was hosting. So like I had to wrap it up. I had to wrap it up real quick. Couldn't even finish the video. So let's just start back where we left off. We were talking about the lecture hall analogy. The lecture hall analogy, meaning that depending on where you sit in the lecture hall, it will affect how you do in the class. So you have to look at life that way. You're not gonna sit with your friends at the back of the class texting all day long and expect to get a good grade in the class. Like, no, you're gonna have to sit with the friends that sit at the front, take good notes, and even if they're not focused 24/7, they're still gonna do better than the people that are at the back of the class not caring. You're never gonna find people that are 100% positive all the time, because that's not human nature. We're not positive all the time, we're not happy all the time. That's not what I'm advocating for. But it is easy to tell who is giving their best foot forward and who is the negative Nancy. You're gonna have some friends that it's like, woe is me 24/7. Like, there's always something going wrong. It's always the end of the world. Like, you probably are thinking about that person as I'm describing it. And those are the kind of people that will keep you in that same mindset. Misery loves company. So if you're really trying to change your mindset, you need to change your support environment, meaning you might have to let go of some people in your life. Also, I feel like this is like the worst makeup tutorial ever, considering I was halfway through my face and now we're restarting from scratch. I'm doing like the lightest like summertime makeup, so it's not really anything today. All right, so first thing you need to do to change your mindset, change your environment, change your physical environment, your work environment, your support environment. Number 2, in order to change your mindset, you need to change your systems. And this is because a mindset shift is just very unlikely to happen if you're operating within a broken system to begin with. So when I say a broken system, I mean essentially you have now like basically a stack of habits that are working against you. They're not working and propelling you towards your goals. Hence why I may feel like you're kind of running in place, and that gives you that kind of negative mindset. I know for myself, one thing that I noticed before I was like, okay, I have to really change my systems, is that I paid attention to how I felt during my workouts. And this is because I'm someone that works out pretty regularly. Like, regardless of my size, funny enough, my weight fluctuates depending on what I'm eating, but I pretty much always go to the gym. Like, I'm probably like the most consistent person when it comes to the gym. If I take more than like 3 days off the gym, I feel very weird. The gym and working out was already a habit that I had. So it was very easy for me to tell how food affects me because I'm always at the gym. One morning I might wake up and do a run and I feel great. And then the next day I feel like shit. And I'm like, what changed? What you ate the day before? What I ate the day before and how that fuel was affecting my body was like, okay, you can't eat junk food, at least not in the middle of the week, because it's hard for you to work out after if you eat junk food. Those are the kind of things I'm saying to identify within your system, whether your system has brokenness to it. Maybe one of your goals is to go to bed earlier, but you keep finding yourself wide awake at 2 a.m. Well, why is that? Maybe a part of like your daily system is to watch TV until midnight. So an easy fix to that system will say, okay, what time do I want to go to bed? I'm going to ensure that I turn off the TV 3 hours before then, and see if that changes and helps me get closer to my goals. In order to have a mindset shift, you have to actually change your system. You can't just say, I want to do X, so I'm gonna have the willpower and just push myself to do X. You have to actually set up a system in order to achieve that goal. So a couple things that worked for me that I think you guys should try out is, number 1, use your focus modes on your phone. I think setting up automatic focus modes helps me to kind of push me off a social media app and back into what I was meant to do. For instance, like I have a create mode. So like if you're someone that you want to create more art during the day, maybe you're an artist, maybe you do pottery, you can actually schedule this create mode on your phone. So maybe 3 hours during the day, it'll tell you we are now in create mode. And just use it to your advantage. If you're trying to go to bed early, I set mine to go into sleep mode at like 10 p.m. So even if I do get a text, I don't see it. So it kind of helps me get off my phone late at night. The next tip I would have is just to reduce your social media consumption in general. Reducing your social media consumption will probably be the biggest mindset shift you have, because it's a domino effect. And I know that might sound hypocritical because you're watching me on YouTube, but know that I'm actually not someone who's like sitting around on my phone all day long. And I think it's also partially because my day job requires me to be on the phone a lot, like I'm talking to people a lot. So I do find that like when I have time to myself, I kind of just want to put my phone across the room. But even with that, like I'm not going to scroll through TikTok all Saturday. I'm gonna go do something, like if I'm watching YouTube, it's probably like a Sunday afternoon and I don't have much to do. And I think having those boundaries helps you not get so like bogged down and just like, you know, like overly focused on what everybody else is doing. You're more focused on what you're doing and what you're up to than to like keep up with the Joneses. Keeping up with the Joneses is the easiest way to keep yourself in a negative mindset, because it's just gonna always feel like you're not where you need to be. And with that, with using your focus modes and not being on social media too much, I would really recommend not sleeping with your phone. So I'll be honest, most times on like a Friday or a Saturday night, I probably do fall asleep with my phone. But every other day of the week, I actually sleep with my phone across the room, because that's where my plug is, for one. So I need my phone to be charged. But also because I just noticed I get a lot better sleep when I don't sleep with my phone. I think it's like, again, a domino effect. I'm not looking at social media, so I go to bed in a better mood. And then when I do wake up, I don't look at social media first thing in the morning. So I kind of stay in a better mood throughout the morning, focus on what I need to do. And then it just kind of ripples. That I feel like, okay, this was a productive day. You're not really concerned too much about social media. And then it's like here for entertainment and not for like, like I need it, like an addiction, you know? I'm missing something. I know I look ashy, but when I put on my spray, it's gonna be fine, I promise. Last thing with changing your systems, I would really recommend getting a gratitude journal. I think this goes hand in hand with putting your phone across the room, replacing maybe the phone with a small journal that feels like, you know, almost the same size, and then basically going to bed with that journal and then waking up with that journal. I did this for maybe like 2-3 months at the beginning of the year, and I noticed how much happier I was during the week. Essentially, I would keep my journal right underneath my pillow. At the end of every day, I would journal just, you know, a little blurb about the day and what was on my mind, just like stream of consciousness, like no shadow work here, just whatever you want to write about. And then in the morning of the next day, I would write 3 things that I'm grateful for off the top of my head. And I would usually do this like literally right when I woke up, like wake up, keep water by the bed, drink a little bit of water, grab my journal, and immediately write 3 things down. So like if you looked in my journal, all of them, at least the first line of each one is, I love my bed, like I'm grateful for my bed, because I was just waking up. But after that, it'll be something random, like I'm really grateful for sunshine. You know, I'm really grateful for even like the rainy days. Like I'm really grateful for like the sound of rain while you're inside. You know, I'm grateful for payday. I'm grateful for my upcoming vacation. I'm grateful for my job. Like really easy way to help shift your mindset and also break habits that are bringing a negative mindset. So it's like a double whammy. When it comes to changing your mindset, you really got to think of positivity like a muscle. Like that's why I really recommend getting like the gratitude journal, because it's one of those things that the more and more you work at it and you practice it intentionally, it just kind of sits there and it's there for the rest of your life. If you work harder, intentionally try to be more positive, it'll become your norm more than negativity. But it is going to take that initial push from yourself to stress the muscle and help it grow, you know? Okay, we are almost done here, ladies. I always say, I'm like, it's not gonna be this big makeup routine, it's just gonna be something light. All right, I'm using my Urban Decay All-Nighter Spray. I told you guys it will not be ashy. All right, so the last thing for how to change your mindset is changing your internal communication style. And I saved this one for last because it's definitely the hardest one to do. I think it's the one I struggle with the most. It's negative self-talk. If you want to see a glimpse into your future, you have to look at what your right now looks like. If you're trying to see like, are things going to change around for me, but you're always kind of like, no, like nothing ever changes, then yeah, nothing's ever gonna change, because you're kind of spiritually and energetically keeping yourself in the same place. It's really messed up because it's like, we did not learn to negative self-talk on our own. Like a lot of that came from somewhere, but unfortunately, like it's on you to like fix. It's on you to like get rid of the habit, because it is going to be your biggest enemy. And essentially you just gotta like have to like reparent yourself in a way. I think one thing that's been very helpful for me is that whenever I'm having negative self-talk, I imagine myself as like 5-year-old kindergarten Ollie. And I just think like the same thing I just said to myself, I say to her. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you would never talk to a 5-year-old like that. And you have to think like in that way to yourself sometimes. Like if you're saying like, oh my God, I'm so dumb, like why didn't I get this right, like da 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 da, you know, just being really hard on yourself. You have to think like, if a 5-year-old were in front of you, would you say that to them? Like would you say, oh my God, you're so dumb, why didn't you get that right? No, you'd be like, it's okay, babe, like it happens sometimes. Like a muscle, you just got to keep doing that until it becomes like second nature. I think that's been the biggest thing that's helpful for me. Because sometimes when you step out of your own head and just imagine someone else, or it could be a friend, a sibling, whatever. Just imagine someone saying the negative self-talk that you do, like, but to a child or like someone you really love. All of a sudden you're like, oh hell no. You're not gonna talk to them like that. Like, what are you doing? So don't talk to yourself like that. The biggest way to change your mindset is to change the way you talk to yourself, because the way you see the world is through the lens that you create. So if the lens that you have is one that's dirty and negative, that's the way you're gonna paint the world as well. Okay friends, so this is the final look. I went ahead and just bumped the ends of this wig because, I don't know, it was getting stiff. So I want to do a little something with it. So if you found this video helpful, please give it some love down below. Let me know which of these things you're going to try or that you've been trying. Let me know how they're working for you. Let me know how they're not working. These are all tactics that I've been using and I'm still currently using to get into a more positive and abundant mindset. So it's been helping me. I hope it helps you guys out. Let me know how it goes. I can't wait to hear. And as always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. And I will see you guys in the next one.